Hello, good evening, folks. Welcome. And it's October the 12th, and it's a Friday. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, let's tell you this. Obasanjo endorses Atiku for 2019 presidential race. As Presidency says, gang up against Buhari will fail. And later on, this one, INEC insists APC can't field candidates for Zamfara in 2019 elections, as party denies receiving letter from the electoral body. I'm hanging out with Asukwa James. Asukwa, I greet you.
Good evening, Citizen.
And Mobolade Omonija has joined us again. I greet you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
As always, the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, folks, let's go. The Ibibiu, and that's my people. They have a profound idiom. It goes something like this: Akwandita, akwa ofop, meaning the mighty the game, the mightier the bonfire. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is now home and dry as the presidential flag bearer of the main opposition party, the PDP. A first hurdle has been crossed, even if only just. His former boss, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, has let it go, in a manner of speaking, but not before recounting some of his sins. At the same time, the ruling All Progressives Congress appears unflappable about his candidacy. As far as the presidency is concerned, any gang up against President Muhammadu Buhari would fail. Now you see the bonfire, Asukwa?
Yeah.
If you understand the imagery.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. You know, the bonfire that we are talking about is the challenge ahead. You know, because before we are thinking it's just going to be an easy race for the incumbent, but as the days go by, with this so-called endorsements.
It's not so-called.
No, because there will be some, pretenders who will be saying that they are endorsing Atiku Abubakar, and then we'll know the real ones.
As in politics, anything is possible.
Yeah, we know, because there will be some pretenders. You know? So with now the incumbent or the APC know that is not going to be business as usual, because the endorsement yesterday, it was like setting the tone of what...
You didn't see it coming?
Well, I saw it coming.
Oh, the endorsement?
Yes, I saw it coming, because
if you notice
the Afenifere group, you know, leaders have been going to OBJ, you know, trying to pacify him, talk to him.
Oh, you think it's a part of the game?
It's part of it, you know, for him to at least give him a hearing, for him to even say, okay, fine, I want him to come. Let me listen to what he will say. And I knew that it was going to happen, because if you notice, before this particular drama, Obasanjo and the sitting president have not been in talking terms, you know, especially after the long letter, the episode, you know, that he wrote to the president. You know, the president didn't take it easy with him, and Obasanjo is not someone that once you attack him or you criticize him, he will take it lightly, you know. So, and that is what has failed this particular incident that you are seeing. So rather than him saying he wants to support the president, and don't forget, in every forum that he went to, he was always criticizing the incumbent president. He has not given him any chance. He has not given him any opportunity to say, okay, that maybe the economy is moving, because he had, recently even said
we must
the
be fair
economy
to,
was not moving.
Let's be fair to the former president. In the opening days of the Buhari regime, he was friendly, if you remember.
Of course.
Until...
He has always been.
Yes.
Okay.
It starts like that with them.
Okay, it's
like
a ploy?
That. Yes, he was in support of Jonathan in the early part. He supported him. Then along the line, he withdrew that support. But I think also we over-dramatize Obasanjo's weight electorally.
Yeah.
As news value, you cannot ignore him. But electorally, I think it's overrated.
Yeah, okay. Okay. He forgave his man. I'm looking at some of the words. He said, it is not what you did against me that is the issue, but what you did against the party, the government, and the country. And goes on to say, there are still areas naturally, nationally and internationally, where you have to mend fences.
And that if you did
That's rubbing it in.
Yes. You see, Obasanjo, what you can't take from him is, number one, he's very experienced. He's been around for quite a while. He knows all the buttons. He knows what to press when he wants to press some certain things. So he knew that it would generate some controversy, because just a few weeks ago, he declared that God would not forgive him if he ever supported Atiku. Now, he's welcomed the same Atiku with a retinue of clerics on both sides.
Yeah.
So, obviously, he knew people would ask questions. So he was trying to say, yes, I saw a few things, but as things stand today, I'm left with no choice. I have between Buhari and Atiku to pick one from. So, I mean, I think that's what he's trying to hint at.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I also think that, to a large extent, it's good for him. It makes him relevant. It's good for him.
Him will be Obasanjo here.
Obasanjo.
Okay.
For Atiku too, whatever, I mean, for a politician, the fact that OBJ endorsed him, he ate his words, it will make the headlines, it will be on the front page of the newspapers, it will generate this kind of discussions. It's good for Atiku,
But
as a politician.
But as I
electorally,
said,
I don't think it goes far enough.
he shared his sentiments.
No, of
You know,
course. I think let's even look at all the elections that have been conducted. Has Obasanjo even won in his word before? That is one of the things we should be looking at.
No, I'll give you, apart from
you know,
1999 to 2007.
And so after that, has he...
Obasanjo had never contested an election after that.
You understand? Even winning, saying, okay, that it was a former president, has he even won in his word?
No, say that I'm defending the former president.
Okay.
Does he need to have won anything outside of...
No, you support the issue of electoral value.
Electoral value, I'm talking about the electoral value now, you know, because he might be a kingmaker outside, or people might see him as a kingmaker. So
why is his former number two going to him? If we grant that.
See, there are so many issues which maybe as we move on. And don't forget you said something internationally. And this is the same man that actually wrote a book and a full page or more than catalog the sins of the number two man. And the Obasanjo that I know, because when I saw the whole picture, the whole video, it doesn't look like someone who has forgiven him. It's someone that can change his mind anytime soon.
I'm wondering if you have a right to think for Obasanjo at this time.
I don't have the right to think, but
think for him.
Okay, for him, to think for him. But if you look at all the things that and the ways that Obasanjo has been going about and bringing out statements that make headlines, this was different. Obasanjo never reads scripts.
Okay, you mean if you wrote a script for him?
He has never. Even sometimes he prepares those scripts and he never uses the script in Nigeria.
All right, Omonijo, let's spread out now. The second leg to the topic says, the presidency says gang up against Buhari will fail. And the SSA media here, I'm talking about Garba Shehu, says his principal, the sin of his principle is that he has blocked loopholes and so on, which could be exploited by these folks. So that brings the issue of the gang up to the fore, right?
Number one, I don't believe in all this gang up or no gang up. It's part of politics. If you are going to battle, if you need to go into alliance, you have allies every time. Even the Gulf War, you had allies. There's nothing. The APC itself was a product of such alliances. So there's nothing to it. Then, sorry.
Yeah.
Then I think that there must be a distinction in terms of roles that people play. I think that when there are strictly political partisan jibes coming, the campaign organization of Obasanjo and it has of the president.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and it has its own publicity men and who should handle it. The president is also a candidate. When it comes to governance and other issues, people like Garba Shehu, people like Femi Adesina, they should come in and join. But when it comes to strictly partisan political things, I think people like Keyamo should rise up to the matter.
And if you will, Rotimi Amechi as the DG of the campaign organization. Okay. So you'd rather this came from any of the other two?
I think it would have been better that they did. But when we talk about gang up, you have no right to design for them how they will rise up to the challenge. They know it's a huge challenge. They know it's huge challenging the incumbents in an underdeveloped country. There's no doubt about that. No? So if they needed to join forces, why not? And if you also say that Obasanjo does not mean so much electorally, so why are you talking about a gang up with him?
So what does it matter?
What does it matter? If it's 15 plus 0, it will still be 15. If you say it's 0. So as far as I'm concerned, I think they should face things that should be their concern, both in terms of governance and in terms of politics. Play your part. Occasionally, you will need to throw certain things at your opponent, but let it be done from the campaign organization.
All right. David is here. Good evening, David. Well, I hear we have excited you enough.
Mr. Manager.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yep.
I want to say here, Jones, that we shouldn't analyze Baba Obasanjo as somebody who has unforgiving spirit. He's a martyr. He can forgive. They have wine and dine together. He has every right to come back to the party or accept the candidate from the party where he belongs to. And let me tell you, there have been a lot of mediating committees before Obasanjo could accept Atiku as a candidate. You mentioned it there, some traditional rulers visited him to submit that. So as Obasanjo felt, there is no other credible or competent candidate that could compete with Muhammad Buhari than Atiku. He had to endorse him. So let us not be sentimental. Whether there will be victory or no victory, APC now knows that they have somebody that could ever square up with them.
Brother David,
2019,
Brother David, just spare me 30 seconds. If we recall that when he was a member of the same PDP, he tore his membership card. Oh, he's left. But you can take this, Asuko. Former President Obasanjo is known to have made a show, public show, of tearing his membership card. Has he forgiven that aspect of his alignment with the party?
Definitely. If he says he has forgiven someone, I'm very sure that because even there were issues, there was a particular time they asked him if he actually tore the membership card. It was the PDP membership card. You know, he was saying, did you see it? Do you know if it was the PDP membership card that it was?
I wish he asked somebody
you
like
understand?
You.
Because,
I wish he asked
because that's
somebody
the other
like
thing.
You.
Yes, he might have torn the card, but which one? Was it PDP membership or just one paper?
When they said it was PDP card, what did he say? Did he respond? Did he say no?
No, that is it. Because see, the thing is, if he has forgiven...
Except that it was his ward chairman, if you remember, it was his ward chairman that physically tore it.
Tore it, not him.
Tore whose card?
Not Obasanjo's card.
Okay, it's all right.
Not Obasanjo's card.
Now I understand.
So that is where we...
are you with me?
Are you in a position to say if it was Obasanjo's card or not?
We are assuming that it was Obasanjo's card. You understand? But if somebody picks a card, we don't know if it is Obasanjo's...
At the hangout here, you don't assume.
No, conspiracy theories.
Are you a conspirator?
Sure, you understand me. Now, for forgiving, now what we should be thinking of is is it part and parcel of the PDP now? That is what we should be looking at. If he has forgiven Atiku, because he said, okay, he's going to, be behind Atiku, make sure that Atiku goes all out.
I don't think he has to be a bona fide member of the PDP
go all out and campaign for him.
To back his former number two man.
He can't. If he has to be a part and parcel of the party.
Okay.
Because now people are saying that...
Now that he has forgiven
yes,
everything.
forgiven. He can go back to the party. Let him go back to the party, because I think PDP needs him now.
Okay.
You know, for, in quote, the fatherly advice or fatherly role or whatever he was playing before.
Omoni, we cannot at this point run away from the man Atiku.
No, we can't.
And we're looking at the man Atiku on the one hand, the man Atiku, the politician.
Yes, Atiku is, we must consider the fact that he's a very formidable person for this contest. And in fact, if I look at all 13 who contested in Port Harcourt, I think he was the most formidable, or he is the most formidable, actually. If you look at his antecedents, if you look at his political history, if you look at having risen to the level of a vice president and having contested about 3 times, you know, across political parties, if you look at the fact that he's burning with ambition and the fact that he knows that this may be the last opportunity and that he will give it everything he could throw into the fray. No, I think the PDP made a good choice in that aspect. I'm not talking of in terms of his personal qualities. That's a different thing. But in terms of the political weight, I think Atiku fits the bill, as it were.
Let's look at the other angle to what his former boss said. And if you permit my sharing it, there are still areas nationally and internationally where you have to mend fences. Mend fences.
I understand what he's saying. I understand what I was hinting at. I know people.
So now that's Atiku the man.
Yes, Atiku the man. If one had read Obasanjo's book and his acerbic comments.
Which of them?
My Watch.
My Watch.
Okay.
Where he commented elaborately on Atiku and the fact that, number one, he's inordinately ambitious, and that as soon as he made him his VP, he started planning how to supplant him. You know, use all those things that he said then, and the corrupt tendencies, alleged corrupt tendencies of the man. So he's hinting at some of those, and the fact that people have been saying that he cannot go to America and that he has cases, even though the American embassy
they reacted.
Has reacted, but they did not say there are no issues. They said that there are no criminal cases waiting for him. So,
but the viewer is interested. You can go one step further. There are questions the Americans would love him to answer.
Exactly. So that's what he's hinting at, nationally, internationally. You know, Nigerians, whether we like it or not, there is politics is also a game of perception. How is Atiku perceived? People are trying to burnish that image today. But certainly, once you think corruption in Nigeria, one of the names that come up, whether you are talking of Siemens or whatever, is Atiku. So that it's there. Even on the...
and to consider that those on the other side who were connected to it are serving punishment.
Exactly.
I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Exactly, absolutely. So these are questions that are waiting. And as the campaign goes on, of course, I know that the APC men, it's not lost on them. They'll bring up some of these issues. There will be letters written, there will be replies, there will be jibes.
Oh, they already are.
It started, but there will be more and more of it as we go along. But I know the good thing for...
Which is not good for our politics.
It is good.
Not attacking, don't attack the man, attack the issues, interrogate the issues.
Corruption is an issue.
A major
Your
issue.
performance when you are in office is an issue.
Okay.
No, so there are issues that that intertwine with personality, as it were. Perception becomes an issue. It has a life of its own as things go on. So they will come on. It's good for us. We should interrogate every matter.
Okay.
When you see the American election, every issue, everything that has come up, everything about the candidate is brought up. So it's good for us.
We have a judge here. Judge, you are in Ogun State. We welcome you to Lagos. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Yep. Go on, sir.
The issue is not really about the two presidents, contestants.
Yeah.
Yeah. The issue is not about the two contestants. The issue is who can best deliver the good for Nigeria.
Judge, sorry, brother Judge. Brother Judge.
To look at their antecedents.
Okay.
And vote for antecedent performance.
All right, brother Judge.
Supporting who?
Let me, Judge, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, please, you have a right to your opinion, but don't twist the subject matter. This is what we have before us, that the former President OBJ has endorsed his former vice to face Buhari of the APC.
I can hear you.
So, are we in business? Can you hear me?
Okay.
I am saying don't twist the subject matter. We'll get to that some other time, but for this evening, former President Obasanjo is reported to have endorsed his former #2 man for the plum job.
He is free. The president, the former president.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on. David, okay. Well, but simply what I'm telling you, I mean, this is the subject matter for the evening. It should not set the agenda for us. Our business is to set agenda for the viewership. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you were on.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that as things are, you cannot fully separate the personality from what he had done before. Antecedents, performance in office, capacity, capability, all of them will come up during the election. And it is normal. We should expect it. What we should not allow are abuses.
Yeah, foul language.
Foul language.
Yeah.
No? And concocting issues that are not. Those are the things that we should try to avoid. But as to issues, we should interrogate every issue, every detail about them and their performances in the past.
But it doesn't say we should throw away what the SSA to media to the president, Garba Shehu, has said, or quoted to have said. He said they gang up, underline that, gang up against his principle will take them nowhere.
Well,
they gang up.
Yes, we all know why and the set of people he's referring to, you know,
as members of the gang.
The gang, you understand? And the members of the gang, according to, you know, Garba Shehu will be the people who have not been able to, you know, go to Aso Rock to get something from the president. The people who have, you know, in quotes, seen corruption, whereby, in quote, the president has been fighting corruption and they have not supported the president in the fight against corruption. And the people who have not seen anything good in this government. So those are the people.
He goes on to say opposition is against the modus of fighting corruption.
Corruption, exactly.
You know, more like saying everybody agrees corruption is the common enemy.
Yes.
But everybody is not on the same page as to how to face this enemy.
Exactly. That is just the major problem. On social media, there was this argument about incompetence and corruption. Somebody was saying that incompetence is better than corruption. And I was just, and a youth for that matter, I was just like, and the person kept arguing, said, you don't understand why we are saying, you don't understand the meaning. You know, you can't compare corruption and incompetence. They are wide, 2 miles apart.
And the spellings are different.
I tell you, you understand, because corruption, we know what corruption has done to this country. We all know what corruption is.
It's the enemy.
Yes, that is it. So if one is corrupt and you are competent, there is no how that corruption will not make you incompetent.
Okay. We'll rubbish every...
It will rubbish it.
Every aspect of competence to you.
A good person who is just like somebody who is clean and you are going into a fight with a pig. There is no how you will come out clean.
Even if you had the fight inside a pool...
There is no how. You will come out smelling. That is how it is. And so people should not equate incompetence and say incompetence is better than corruption. It is, you can't compare it.
I'm wondering where that is coming from.
You know, this social media thing is just, you know, and once you see things on social media, you just begin to wonder, and these people went to school, oh.
Well, I assume that these are social comments. So you talked about foul language, gutter language. At a time like that, it's likely to be in season.
No, yeah, that is it.
In fact, in most cases, we'll leave issues altogether.
Yeah.
Then we start throwing stones across battle lines that have been drawn.
And almost everybody lives in a glass house.
Exactly.
Yes.
And everybody throws stones.
Even when you don't live in a glass house, it will be presented. And these days that you could tweak a number of things. You present it as if it's in a glass house and you throw at him, whether imaginary or real. You know? But, I mean, I think Nigerians should take a position on this. It's about our lives. It's about Nigeria as a country. Nigeria, when we were growing up, we were talking of giants of Africa. I don't know whether you can still...
Nigeria held a lot of promise at independence for me. And I dare say for all of us here. Joseph is reaching us from Benue. Joseph, good evening. Welcome.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm Joseph from Benue.
I greet you.
Yes, I'm saying that let us do a quick check. Everyone that Obasanjo has supported has gone on to win the presidency. So those who are ignoring him now are doing so at their peril.
Okay. That's another angle.
Yes. Ignore him at your peril. Anyone he supported has gone ahead to win the presidency. Check it.
Except that, to quote what you have said, everyone so supported by him who went on to win the presidency ended up poorly in his estimation.
But they won it anyway.
In his estimation.
So
the context might also be different. It's true, they've won, given some context at the moment. If, for example, he was leaving power and they went on to support Yaradua for the contest, it was an unequal contest at that moment. So it was clear that Yaradua was going to win. Anyway, then for the first time when Jonathan was coming on, he supported him too. He was moving from acting president, became president, and then went on to win an election.
Until the water became bloody.
Is moving with the tides.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. He was moving with the tide and now he's swimming against the tide. I mean,
because you can't be against the tide. It has to always swim with the tide.
I hope he's telling you Obasanjo knows when to pick his war as a general. We'll go on this break and return. Please don't go away. All right, folks, let's keep it going. I know you're still with it. Obasanjo endorses his former #2 man, Atiku, for the plum job, but Presidency says no matter the power or the weight of the gang up, Buhari remains the man to be beaten. You know, gentlemen, can we look at a running mate to Atiku? That was also at issue.
Yeah, yes, we are hearing things like Peter Obi that he has, selected to be his running mate.
You can't place a finger on that.
Yes, we can't, because also I heard probably it might be the deputy senate president, and so either way it goes, cool, but to me I would have expected maybe he would have taken somebody from this other side, which is the southwest, then because whether APC likes it or they don't, it will be very difficult for them to get those numbers in the southeast. So the southeast is already a block vote for PDP there. So it would have been better.
What numbers are you talking about?
I'm talking about the numbers during the election by the time they start voting, because the southeasterners, if you go on social media, you already know where they are going to. So they don't even want to hear APC.
But, but Omonijo will tell you that even
what he would have done,
the Southeast is torn between eyeing 2023 for the plum job and this as a stopgap.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you are going for a battle, you go for the battle all out.
Okay.
So I'm looking at taking maybe a running mate from the Southwest, whereby they will also challenge the numbers and the registered voters in the Southwest, because you already know you have a block vote in the Southeast. But if it comes with Peter Obi, fine. It means that they have to do all the work, all the efforts will now be tailored towards the Southwest, trying to get all the vote or split the vote in the Southwest, as well as the North-West, where the president comes from. Because Peter Obi, if he's Peter Obi, he's formidable too. Because when he was governor of Anambra State, he did well. He did very well when he was governor of Anambra State.
Some would tell you he's so frugal.
Yes, but he left. He was the only governor that I heard left close to 30 billion naira in the coffers when he was leaving. So he knows, you know that, okay, that such a person can, have can be like the person that Atiku want to put, especially now that they are talking about economy. You should be able to come and create those jobs.
Mobolade, I hope he's listening to him. I hope he's listening to himself. You have a presidential candidate who is, he spends. Yes. And you are imagining a number 2 man
who doesn't spend.
Who does not spend.
Well, on one hand, you could say that then they will complement.
Okay, there'll be meeting points.
Well, maybe, but somebody is the captain of the boat. Don't forget. Somebody defines the administration, the steam on which it runs. The other person has to fall in line, or he will just be sulking. He doesn't have a choice, as it were. But really, I'm not too bothered about whether he picks from the Southwest or he picks from the Southeast. That's not, to me, it's not the most important thing. I think, number one, there has been this very loud cry about the young ones. The younger ones, I think they should also spare them some thoughts.
Who spares who?
The political elite. In this case, encapsulated by 2 major political parties.
I don't want to mistrust you at this point.
Whether you do or you don't.
We've had a smooth sail since 5 o'clock.
We don't have to.
So, power is not given a la carte.
No, it's not a question of giving power a la carte.
And then your youth, is the youth ready?
I don't understand what you mean by being ready or not being ready.
Okay.
Really.
Okay.
See, I'm not one who will say reserve quite a lot of this, whether to gender or to whatever. But I also think that, see, there is a political process by which you build people. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, the whole structure has collapsed. In other words, you should have younger ones at the local government level.
But there must, because we must pass over now. Okay. Not before reminding you that there's a tutelage. The youth, the younger generation, the older guys should groom. There should be this grooming, and the youth being ready.
There is nothing. These gerontocratic people that we have,
they are not ready.
They are not ready to give us the opportunity, and it is a fact.
Go get it.
No, because
grab it.
The thing is,
those of us
because they are not ready to give us the opportunity. Because we too, we are also not ready to take power.
Time we must go to the next subject matter. But Emmanuel Macron, France,
yes, exactly.
And Justin Trudeau, Canada,
yes,
went through the mill. They rose through the mill.
Why? Because even the people that were there before them gave them a voice. But here, they don't give us a voice. What they do is that they give us money for us to fight each other.
No, but
all right. And they've been successful at that. All right, folks, let the debate continue, but we must take on the next subject matter, which is this. The INEC seems to prove that there is no wrong time to make a right decision. The electoral body has said there's no going back on its decision to bar the All Progressives Congress, APC, from fielding candidates for the 2019 general election in Zamfara State. In a swift reply, the APC on Thursday denied informing, getting a letter to the effect. It wants the electoral body to probe the source of the contested letter, which it insists exist in the sphere of the social media again. Now, aren't we living in interesting times, Omonijo?
Yes, quite interesting. Though I'm happy personally that the ruling party could be so shaken, even though I think they've been particularly, what word do I use now? They've been particularly careless in the case of Zamfara. The carelessness is inexcusable. No, you knew that there is a timetable for all this deadline for primary, which expired on the 7th of October. And you had so much quarrel and all that within the party that you could not settle within the period. No, I agree with the position of the APC that there should be a letter. If the time has passed, rather than just release to the public, you should inform them formally, and then the public could pick it up from there. But the issue is that were they asleep when they were supposed to have held their primary, whatever the level? There are tricks that have been played in the past. Tricks. Sometimes they pick somebody that they know he himself was not expected to go there, and at least they put the name because they know that there is a period for substitution. But at least you would have come up with something. You didn't come up with anything. We must begin to build institutions. We must begin to look at processes. We must be looking at procedures. And if INEC is insisting on that, I think we should start with that. And that no party is too big to be cautioned under the democratic
After all, Asukwo, you folks cry about the independence, true independence of the electoral umpire.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday, I think we discussed this issue yesterday, and I was insisting that at least INEC, should stamp his foot down, because it's going to be very dangerous for us and to our democracy if INEC, shifts ground. They said they have written a letter. APC is now saying that they didn't see the letter, but at least they heard that there was a letter, saying that there was no primaries held in Zamfara State. And while the governor was saying, I know the governor said they actually held a primaries in Zamfara State and sent the names to the headquarters.
What did you say to Marafa?
But Marafa is now saying,
So are you telling me that you had parallel congresses, primaries?
No, it's the same primaries,
So how
now
come?
what they are saying, the governor, because when the governor held primaries, when the national headquarters actually suspended their ESCOs.
Yes.
So the next day, they said they held primaries. But I remember there was a letter a night before from the deputy national chairman who says that what they want is another set of panel to come from Abuja to conduct the. So if the panel actually went to Abuja for them, that's the NWC, to monitor or supervise the conduct of the primaries, then it means that there was a primary. But it's left for APC to now show us, to document those things and say, okay, there was Mr. A and Mr. B from the APC national chairman who are from NWC, who actually monitored those primaries. But now another person, another aspirant, which is Senator Marafa, is insisting that there was no primaries. So
I'm wondering where this is coming from. A statement says the letter to the chairman of the APC was leaked.
Well,
I'm wondering, leaked who or what by?
And by who?
That's one we are not likely
You
to
understand?
know.
We might not
But
know.
the point is,
but the point is, if there was a letter or if there was no letter,
that is the point.
if there was a letter or there was no letter,
There should have
did
been.
they meet the deadline? That is what you are saying.
That's the most important thing.
Manager, history will tell us that a little something happened in Imo State during the Obasanjo years, when at the particular time, the former president said, PDP has no candidate for the state. You understand?
Absolutely.
Which came from something like this, disputed primaries and so on.
The court had to intervene.
That's
and
it.
the court, because Obasanjo had forwarded the name of somebody who came third in the process, and of course, INEC was present to monitor, and it became an issue. Ararume went to court.
That's it.
And over that, the court said, no, you cannot do this. So that Ararume remained the candidate, and then the party hierarchy, the lords in Abuja said, okay, that is the court's candidate.
Yeah.
It is not our own candidate. And they decided to shift loyalty to another political party. So all those things, the APC can only shoot itself.
Which is telling you and my humble self that the INEC had, like, you know, the despised wife been trying to be, okay, Mohammed, I'll take you in a short while. You know, the INEC had tried to be independent, assert itself. That's why I cited this. So if this is coming again to underscore that, so be it.
Absolutely.
Mohammed, now join us. Welcome. Hello, Brother Mohammed.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Can I wait a little?
Yeah, you are on
Yes,
now.
you're on.
Hello?
You are on. Go on. Go on.
Good evening, my brothers.
We greet you.
My first caller, I'm doing good.
God bless.
Okay.
Right. May I seize this opportunity to I want to talk about the past. I want to talk about the past paragraph.
The what?
About endorsement of Atiku by Obasanjo.
But what, Mohammed, why not help us? Why not help us? The second matter, the matter at hand is closely related to the first one. So take this, you know, it's not difficult. INEC says to Zamfara, no, you are likely not to field candidates for next year's elections. Aren't you surprised? Are you there? Okay, so we've been there before. If we go back to the Imo issue. And PDP lost, if you remember. So it's coming back. So if the INEC says no to... So you see the courts coming in?
Yes, definitely. Because yesterday a friend of mine, you know, was chatting with me on Facebook, and he made mention of Amechi versus INEC, where the Supreme Court actually ruled that the parties are the ones to control what goes on, whether the primaries or whatever.
It's the parties that field candidates.
It is the party, and then also talk about the importance of the INEC, the role of the importance of INEC during primaries.
As the referee.
Now, yes, as the referee. Now, what the Supreme Court says that it is not mandatory. You know, whether they can come, they can monitor, but it's not mandatory for them to. That was what the Supreme Court says. So that's why I'm saying that it is now left for the APC, you know, to go ahead and begin to, because part of this Electoral Act that they want the president to sign is to also make INEC a part and parcel of all the processes, particularly the primaries. They should be able to look at the primaries, how you bring out candidates, how you bring out aspirants.
That's it.
That is part of what is inside the law, the new
disputed,
disputed Electoral Act that wants to be amended. So when we argued over it, and he said, okay, that is he brought about that Amechi versus INEC, and the Supreme Court said it's not mandatory, you know. So if APC can take this because there was a precedent, then it means that they can win the case. But for now, if INEC is saying that the deadline was over and that they could not, that they did not submit any name, or that there was no primaries, the APC has to tell the world and tell Nigerians if truly there was primaries.
I think what the small boy inside of me is telling me, until the law says the Supreme Court is wrong, the process must go on, because that law has not been signed. That bill has not been signed.
It has not. No, it has not been signed. But you know, there's already a precedent before.
Yeah.
Amechi versus INEC.
I agree. I agree.
So if the Supreme Court has said it's not mandatory, it's just directing that INEC is just going to go there and monitor, and they don't need to even go there if they want to, So it's left for APC to now go ahead and test the law.
Omonija Zamfara is no different from Rivers State, where we have something similar.
Exactly.
So can we go there?
To Rivers?
Yeah.
Well, Rivers' own was that, see, there's a whole lot of rascality and impunity in the political parties. The Rivers State, you have two factions of the ruling party, of the APC, not the ruling party in the state, but at the federal level. You had the Abe and the Amici factions, as it were. And they were like parallel lines.
Two candidates?
Yes, two parallel lines that have chosen not to meet.
INEC has identified the Amechi candidate?
No, the Magnus Abe.
Oh, the Magnus Abe as the candidate. And Tonye.
Okay. No. Yes.
Tonye Cole.
Tonye Cole is the Amechi candidate. And is the candidate that the party is presenting. As it were. Now, the court has said no. The processes that led to the emergence of Tonye is flawed and unacceptable, as it were. But of course, it will not end there. They will go back to court because that's the base of the judicial process. They will go upstairs and contest it. And whatever the court say will be final.
But it's becoming a tragedy of sorts. But let me welcome Ogun Rade here in Lagos. I greet you. Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have two issues. One, the moderator, you seem to be asking questions at the same time you are trying to answer the questions. You didn't give the participant enough time to answer the questions.
Okay.
If you can reduce your participation on the questions. Number two, the question between APC and INEC is a straightforward issue. INEC said APC cannot participate in 2019 Zamfara. Zamfara, they cannot put candidates for Zamfara in 2019. The best thing for APC to do is to go and test it in court. They should go to court and test it. If they win, it's okay, and if they lose, it's all right. Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Noted. And sometimes the questions I seemingly ask and answer is coming from you folks. So thank you, Ogunrade. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're saying in Rivers there's that quagmire.
You had similar things all over in most of the states that they were not able to really resolve, and they are still trying to resolve. In Ogun State, you had something similar.
Oh, yeah.
It's only that it didn't end up in court for pronouncement so far. And you have things similar in many of the states. APC has not been able to put its acts together, and it's tragic. That's the truth. Now, but Rivers is a little better to me than Zamfara. It doesn't depict the carelessness that we saw in Zamfara.
Okay.
At least they made an effort. It's only that the primaries personnel are unable to reconcile and arrive at
about vested interests.
Exactly. Over there, personal interest much more important than the party interest or national interest. But in Zamfara is that they could not even do something as simple as hold the primary. Even if you have to be quarreling over how it was done, you allowed the time to pass. Because INEC, constitutionally, the Supreme Court also has ruled on that, has the duty to organize elections, has to undertake the elections, and has a duty or the right to come up with the timetable. The timetable has been on for so long.
Procedure.
And the procedure. Yeah. Those ones are there. The parties are even allowed to come up with their own procedure. If you want direct primary, you go for direct. If you want indirect, you can do. Exactly. Even if you want consensus, it is up to you. But then, once you have decided this is what we are doing, then you should be seen also to be disciplined enough to go according to your own rule.
Asuka, I'm worried at this stage because always the simplistic reaction to this would be, oh, we are still learning. We are a nascent democracy. And you're wondering, as I always wonder, how long more must we remain in the classroom?
Yeah,
And so to the point that the courts must determine who must take offices.
No, just like I say, you will keep learning and learning and learning. Just like human being, you learn until you stop learning when one passes on, or passes away.
Are the lessons being taught?
The lessons, the thing is, if we've never had this kind of issue before, whereby a political party will wait for this long before they bring out a name or a candidate or even, conduct primaries. We've never had it. And that is why we are saying that it is part of the learning curve. So if, for instance, this will make this as a lesson, that at the end of every deadline, if primaries are not being conducted and names are not out, this is what happens. So this should serve as a lesson to others, that every primary should be conducted before the deadline. To me, I see no reason why these primaries were not conducted a week before even the deadline week. It should have been conducted way back before even the deadline week, so that it would just be the presidential primaries that would have been held on that same day, not the governorship, because even some state governors, some states, like Imo State, had their own primaries on that same day.
Exactly.
Okay. Abdul Razak has joined us from Borno State. We greet you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much. You are
Yes, sir.
speaking with Abdul Razak from Borno State.
Okay, then.
I wanted to contribute my part of the discussion with the previous topic, but with regards to the Zamfara primaries, first of all, I would like to point an accusing finger to the governor of Zamfara State for lacking the political credibility and courage to solve the party crisis at the state level to conduct the smooth primary. So what I'm calling now is the issue of the deadline from the INEC. Should INEC postpone the deadline to allow the people of Zamfara State to choose the candidate of their choice to participate in the general election? But for INEC to go ahead for the deadline, I don't think it should be fair enough, because that will disenfranchise against the right of people in the Zamfara State.
But the law, Abdul Razak, but the law is the law.
Yeah, the law is the law. But no, I'm just soliciting for that. It's subject to amendment, whatever the law is. But I'm calling for, particularly for the National Working Committee of the APC at the national level to sit down and discuss on how they can find solution to the crisis within the party at the state level, and to conduct the election, while also soliciting with the INEC to postpone the deadline, so that there is going to be, the interest from the both directions.
Thank you very kindly. But again, I marvel at this point. What lessons are we teaching? Exactly. What lessons are we learning? Exactly. And what will the bystanders say? The world is watching us.
There will be no end to it if you start shifting the goalposts.
Oh yeah.
I think
because tomorrow you say you did it for Zamfara.
Exactly.
Why not do it for us?
That is the more reason is, like he is saying, like Abu Razak is saying, that they should forgive them and all that. No, we have 91 other political parties. So they are even waiting for something like this to happen. So if Zamfara people, if APC decided, okay, that they don't want primaries, other people conducted primaries, INEC is going to conduct elections for them. So they have other people that they can go ahead and vote for. So it should, Abu Razak shouldn't be angry or shouldn't feel sad. Everybody can, no, you can't, INEC cannot disenfranchise anybody. It is that one, it is APC matter.
This is a party
APC matter. So let them go and handle it. Just like you are saying here, and we said yesterday, it is because the governors they turn themselves into demigods.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so they want to do everything. They want to bring out anybody that they want and all that.
Omonubi,
so as it stands, let APC go and sort their problem. Go to court.
You want to quickly take it home?
No,
even if from the top. Well, paraphrase it briefly, yeah.
Once again, I say that I'm very glad that this is happening. We should begin to say that there are rules and we must keep to the rules. I'm happy with INEC that it's demonstrating its independence. It's saying that if any party or individual steps out of the line, it will be brought to book. And I'm happy with that.
Asuko, nothing more to add.
Well, I was just wondering what happened to the third force that Obasanjo actually created.
Forget the third force. He has aligned with the second force here. So, okay then, to INEC, I hope INEC does not end up in a quandary. They say sometimes you make the right decisions, some other times you make the decisions right. We wish you well. That's it on the program for this evening and for the week. Asukwa James, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much.
Send the bill to them.
Yes,
and of course, Mobolade Omonubi, and Omonija, please enjoy your weekend.
Thank you very much.
So that's it, folks, for the program. Also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same. And I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now.